He's already know who it is. I'm on asharenu. We back up in here. Day 2. What's good? What's good, Maria? What's good? What's good? Alright. So we got like 1 minute. We got about 2 minutes before we start up. What's up? What's up? I see everybody. I see everybody coming in. Hello, hello. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on? What's up, Rob? What's up, Moonsphere? Brianna? What is this? Mikisha? What's up? What's up, Ian? What's the deal, big homie? What's the deal? What's the deal? So again, we got about 1 minute. We're starting up at 12. So we got about 1 minute. What's up, Chief? What's the deal, Red? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's up, Phoenix Rising? So we'll get started momentarily. We're gonna get started momentarily. Close or as close as not it. Nikisha. I apologize. So forgive me ahead of time, just in case I say your name wrong. I apologize. What's up, Maria from Iceland? Maria's in Iceland. So when we start up, just momentarily, we'll be getting started momentarily. Let me kind of spool back a little bit. All right. Just getting ready. You already know. Getting your energy up. Alright, we can get started. Let me just take a sip. We can get started. Alright. Alright, let's get it. Alright. What's good, everybody? I appreciate everybody tuning in, everybody watching, everybody who will see this in the future. So here we back, day 2 of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. So if you want to read along, just type in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, your tablet or laptop or whatever, computer. And we're going to be on chapter 2, tablet 2, titled The Halls of Amenti. So we're going to be reading it word from word. And I'm gonna give my commentary as we go along, so that we can, put everything in its proper perspective. And again, the whole purpose of this series is to level your foundation. So for any confusion, any confusion you may have about spirituality, everything is going to be laid out flat and straight to the point to you. So this should end any confusion you may have about certain concepts of spirituality, because this is the source material which all these things that we speak about now comes from. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth, this is the source material. So this is before there was the New Age or Law of Attraction, before all these terms was in popular use. This is the source. So we're going to be reading word from word. I think this one is a little bit longer, so again, everybody bear with me. Again, it's written in King's English, meaning the English like contract, so it's written in that type of English, so things are going to just prepare you for that. And again, I may say a word wrong here and there. Again, forgive me ahead of time. Again, if you're not reading along, just make sure you're taking notes. So make sure you have your pens and your pads, just in case anything stands out to you. You want to, look it up later on. Whatever the case may be, sit back and let's go through this. So we're gonna take our time. We're gonna make sure that everything is understood. And here we go. So the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, Tablet 2, the Halls of Amenti, reads as follows. Deep in Earth's heart lie the halls of Amenti, far beneath the islands of sunken Atlantis. halls of the dead, and halls of the living, bathed in the fire of the infinite all. So, if you were here yesterday, we made a lot of mention of the halls of Amenti, but it didn't necessarily go into, it didn't go in depth about what the Hall of Amenties is. It was said here and there, but as we go further into these emerald tablets, everything is going to be placed in its proper perspective. So here we go in the first line. So if we want to know, well, what is the halls of Amentes first and foremost, it's letting you know right there, the halls of Amentes, far beneath the islands of sunken Atlantis. So it's saying the halls of Amenti, and again we describe, it was the halls of Amenti, a void into the underworld, which was sealed with an entrance. A pyramid was constructed above it, so on and so forth, right? So the halls of Amenti, you can say, is beneath the pyramid, the Great Pyramid, right? Nonetheless, far beneath the islands of sunken Atlantis. So that means the halls of Amenti is even older than Atlantis. If it's beneath the sunken islands of Atlantis, you can say, who knows how far back that goes. Again, we can kind of guess and make speculations, but nobody really knows. Halls of the dead and halls of the living. So the halls of Amenti, that's why it's plural. So it's halls. So it's not necessarily just one path. It's halls. It's various paths. It's halls of the dead and halls of the living. You got the polarity going on. Bathed in the fire of the infinite all. So the infinite or the great spirit is always going to be identified as fire. So whenever we're talking about the great spirit, the supreme intelligence is going to say fire, the inner flame, so on and so forth. Again, let us continue. All right. Far in a past time, lost in the space-time, the children of light look down on the world, seeing the children of men in their bondage, bound by the force that came from beyond. Knew they that only by freedom from bondage could man ever rise from the earth to the sun. So a lot was said there. So let's read this one more time. Far in a past time, lost in space-time, lost in the space-time, the children of the light look down on the world. So again, we have the children of the light, then we have the children of men. You can say the children of light come from the stars. The children of man were the creation of the children of light. They created man in this artificial environment, and man is bond. Man is, you can say, this is why this is called a prison planet. We are bound to the earth by gravity, and it's going to explain all these things as we go along. So knew they that only by freedom from bondage could man ever rise from the earth to the sun. So it's letting you know right here that the purpose of this creation, this prison planet, this artificial intelligence and all this, the purpose of all this is to ultimately rise from the earth to the sun. You can say whether in consciousness, whether, spiritually. Again, this is written on a multi-dimensional level, so there's various ways to look at it. So it's letting you know right there, giving you a brief understanding that the whole purpose of man is to ascend. Whether you calling it the sun, you calling it heaven, you calling it, different dimensions, the whole purpose is to ascend. So, so however, wherever you feel you ascending to, is at anybody's discretion, but essentially it's saying the same thing. So you see the same terminology that we're using in today's times is right here in the source material. So because this is where everyone was pulling their information from. So everybody has their own various schools of thought and variations of this source material. But this is why I want to read the source material word from word, so y'all can hear it in its purity. And you can take from that, you can take it and do whatever you please, but at least you heard it in its purity. Of course, other people talk about the emerald tablets, but we going word to word and giving the updates on it so that we can see, like, oh, this is clearly where everybody got their information from. Like, clearly, as we continue to go along, it's going to become more and more clear. This is the source material that everyone who claims spirituality This is the source material that they pull from, and they go on and developing their own understandings, which is perfectly fine because everybody is entitled to their angle or their view of the source material. But at least if I read it from word to word, you will know. At least you heard it in its purity. So you know what I mean. So there we go. Let us continue. Down, they descended. They descended and created bodies, taking the semblance of men as their own. The masters of everything said after their forming, "We are they who were formed from the space dust, partaking of life from the infinite all, living in the world as children of men, like yet unlike the children of men." So a lot was said there. So once again, so we're talking about ascension, to ascend from the earth to the sun. Now it's telling you the other side of that. When you ascend from the earth to the sun, eventually you're going to descend and create for you a body resembling men. So it's talking about the children of light. So the children of light, the people from the stars, the elders, the Anunnaki, there's so many terms that's in rotation in today's times. You know, it's a lot of different terms for this same experience. Nonetheless, so you can say this is spirits. These are etheric beings. Etheric beings descending into third density, and as they are descending into third density, they are creating a body for themselves. And the body that they chose for themselves is to look exactly like the children of men, so that they can blend in. So they're not looking like super giants. They're looking exactly like everyone else, to the point where nobody looks at them any special, right? So this is like, okay, I'm about to shape myself into a king or a queen or God or goddess. It's like, no, I'm about to look just like them, to the point where they don't even see anything special or divine about me. Even though I have retained my memory, I know who I am, but I walk amongst men and I look like men, like and yet unlike the children of men. So I am like, we are like the children of man, but we are also unlike, right? So it's letting you know right there. So the divine beings have always walked amongst us, always blended in. It's not necessarily like the people in royalty or the elites. They're always, again, shape shifting, can take whatever form they like, and most likely they're going to take a form that you're going to overlook. They may come to you in the form of, they may come to you in any form. Nonetheless, let us continue. So it's saying right here, we are they who were formed from the space dust, the etheric, the ether, that formless substance that exists, right? So again, it's putting everything into proper perspective. Partaking of life from the infinite all. So it's partaking of life from the spirit of the all. Living in the world as children of men, like yet unlike the children of men. All right? Then for a dwelling place far beneath the earth's crust, blasted great spaces they by their power, spaces apart from the children of men, surrounded them by forces and power, shielded from harm, they the halls of the dead. So what this is saying is they created, you could say, a home for themselves or a separate place for themselves elsewhere. So one more time, then for a dwelling place, for his resting place or her resting place. So for a resting place far beneath the earth's crust, blasted great spaces they by their power. So they're talking about etheric force. If you're talking about a blast, you're not talking about picking up the hammer and picking up the screwdriver and picking up tools. We're talking about projecting energy. So they were blasting, projecting etheric energy, blasting great spaces, they by their power. So deep beneath the earth's crust, they constructed a home for themselves using their etheric powers. spaces apart from the children of men. So they separated themselves from the children of men, or basically the children of men would have no idea that this is where their home is. So even though they walked amongst them because they look like them, but that's not necessarily their dwelling place or their resting place. They just come amongst them whenever they choose, right? Surrounded them by forces and power. So they have shielded it. So it will be invisible to the average person's eyes anyway. So they can't detect it because it's shielded. Shielded from harm, the halls of the dead. So it's shielded from harm, and you couldn't even detect it because it's shielded. So that would explain, you think you may be just looking at a mountain, or you think you may just be looking at a regular forest or trees. We have no idea what's truly going on here. The truth is always stranger than fiction. Let us continue. All right. Side by side, then, placed they other spaces, filled them with life and with light from above. Builded they then the halls of Amenti, that they might dwell eternally there, living with life to eternity's end. So they basically just talking about the building process. Side by side, placed they other spaces. So they was, they was just cranking out all type of creations. Filled them with life and with light from above. So after they formed the blueprint, after they laid the foundation and constructed the things that they constructed, they filled them with life or with spirit, as well as light from above. So they filled them with spirit. Just like if you were here yesterday, if you saw yesterday's video, we talked about the apex of the pyramid, or the crystal that's at the apex or the capstone of the pyramid that's able to project the light up into space. So it's talking about, so not only was it filled with spirit, it would also fill with what's opposite of spirit, or you would say anti-spirit, the polarity, the positive charge and the negative charge. The positive charge comes from here, this plane. The negative charge comes from the etheric plane, or vice versa, whatever form it want to take. So it's charged with spiritual energy, as well as the energy from the earth, celestial energy, as well as terrestrial energy. So everything that we're speaking about now in today's terms, we can clearly see that it's all laid out here. This is the source of everything we have been talking about for the whole time here. Builded they then the halls of Amenti. So they were in the halls of the dead. Now, so they're talking about the construction of the halls of Amenti. So it's letting you know right there that what we're called the halls of Amenti was a creation of the children of light. So this wasn't just no spiritual place. This was a creation, and they crafted it with their own mind, projecting their chi out, crafting it, doing again things that will completely blow your mind if you was to observe something like that, right? That they may dwell eternally there, living with life to eternity end. So the halls of Amenti was constructed to constantly renew your spirit, Ascend, then incarnate. Ascension, incarnation. Ascension, incarnation. This cycle, ascension and reincarnation, right? So the halls of Amenti, what you can say, was the middle point between ascension and reincarnation, right? 32 were there of the children, sons of light, who had come among men, seeking to free from bondage of darkness those who were bound by the force from beyond. So when saying 32, it was 32 children of men, right? So you say 16 masculine, 16 feminine. Sons of light who had come among men. So you got 16 masculine, 16 feminine. And they shaped and molded their bodies to look just like men, to blend in, yet to give men wisdom, seeking to free from the bondage of darkness, those who were bound by the force from beyond. So we're talking about the same thing we're talking about. If anybody's familiar with the whole flat earth theory and all these things, all this new information, or the so-called new information that's coming out, as we see, it's letting you know right there, like, okay, the children of men were a creation and they were stuck on this plane by higher forces. So all this alien talk, all this UFO talk, we see that this is where all of this is coming from, because it's talking about all this right here, right? So it's letting you know, like, okay, so the children of light is seeing what's going on, so they are coming amongst men, helping to free them from bondage of the darkness of forces from beyond. And you can say, that's certain influences of the stars, the sun, moon, and stars, and the effects it has over the physical body to transcend, all laws that are known to you, and replace them with greater laws, so on and so forth. So this is putting everything into perspective. All right, let's go. Deep in the halls of life grew a flower, flaming, expanding, driving backward the night. So now we got the halls of Amenti, we got the halls of the dead. Now it's introducing another concept, the halls of life. Deep in the halls of life grew a flower, flaming, expanding, driving back the night. So this is equivalent to spirit. So the halls of life, you can say, is the halls of the spirit, which is flaming, expanding, and driving back the night. The bigger and bigger the spirit becomes, you drive back the night. Or ignorance. Place in the center a ray of great potence, life-giving, light-giving, filling with power all who came near it. So we got the halls of life, which is flaming, expanding, driving back with the night. And in the center of this hall of life, placed in the center, a ray of great potence, life-giving, light-giving. So we have this great ray that is life-giving and light-giving. So you can say it gives you life. It fulfills your spirit and it fulfills your soul. Because all your soul wants to do is seek light in the form of wisdom. So it's fulfilling your spirit and your soul, the halls of life. So it's regenerating and rejuvenating your spirit and your soul. Filling with power all who came near it. Placed they around it thorns, 32, places for each of the children of light. Placed so that they were bathed in the radiance, filled with the life from the eternal light. So now we're talking about the children, we're going back into the children of light, which is 16 masculine, 16 feminine, and they were bathing themselves in this halls of life, constantly renewing themselves. And they placed thorns around themselves for protection, or you say illusion, you wouldn't even be able to detect it. So it's all this grand things are going on, and you wouldn't even be able to detect it. You know what I mean? All right. So the children of light, 16 masculine, 16 feminine, rejuvenate their spirits and their souls in the hall of life. And again, this is written on a multi-dimensional frequency, so there's various interpretations. So that's why I just want to read it word from word, so you can start to formulate what it means to you personally as well. All right. There, time after time, placed they their first created bodies, so that they might be filled with the spirit of life. 100 years out of 100 years out of each 1,000 must a life-giving light flame forth on their bodies, quickening, awakening the spirit of life. So now it explains the whole cycle of life. There, time after time, placed they their first created body. So once again, it's letting you know that our bodies are self-created, self-generated, self-sustaining, right? And that it is a creation of us. Like you can say your spirit and your soul forms the body. Like when you go into the womb, the semen starts to form its body, utilizing the resources present in the womb. It starts to shape and mold itself. So that intelligence is already here. So the sperm already has the intelligence to shape and mold this body, utilizing the resources of the womb. So these intelligences are working together, and the intelligence is already present within the DNA. So it's already, the knowingness is already there. Nobody had to teach the sperm how to form a body. It already knew how to do that because the destiny was already predestined. This is the cycle of life. This is life. This is the mathematics of life. It's all given in here. So 100 years out of each 1,000 must the life-giving light flame forth on their bodies. So it's saying each century we had to renew our bodies. Each century we renew our body. The body dissolves each 100 years out of every 1,000. So now we're talking about those greater cycles. So every 100 years you got to renew it. Then you can say once you get to 1,000 years, you renew your body elsewhere. You know, this is just a cycle, the cycle we go through. So it's literally telling, because people may ask, what happens when you die? Where were we before we were born? This is answering all whatever spiritual questions you may have is being answered by the Immortals of Thoth. All right, because this is written from a first-hand experience. This isn't outside people writing this information. This is coming from Thoth himself. So there's no other writings that speak from a first-hand perspective, because it's not being spoken from a first-hand perspective. No other information usually is this detailed. This is why it's so detailed. It's so intricate. And like, it's as if we're reading today's field. Like, again, this is all of the terminology that we're already familiar with. Let us continue. All right. There in the circle from aeon to aeon sit the great masters, living a life not known among men. There in the halls of life they lie sleeping. Free flows their soul through the bodies of men. So they're in the circle from aeon to aeon, so from age to age, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. So from aeon to aeon, from age to age, sit the great masters, living a life not known among men. So they're not known. So once again, so these are not famous people. These are not elitists. These are not faces that the masses or the mainstream knows. These are people who live in the underworld. So this path, so when we're talking about the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, it's also letting you know that this is not mainstream information. This is not information that will be mainstream or will be the most popular. So it's letting you know. So this is not the lifestyle that that most people strive for. This is a lifestyle that they are not known among men. Men have no idea who they are because they look just like them. So again, like, they're moving in absolute silence and absolute secret. They are sophisticated in their thinking, right? There in the halls of life, they lie sleeping. So they sleep in the halls of life. Their spirits and their soul sleeps in the halls of life. Free flows their soul through the bodies of men. So their soul is forever flowing through the bodies of men. Forever flowing. Like, again, so this is the mathematics of the spirit. So for anybody who don't understand how the spirit works and how the soul works, it's clearly being laid out. The nature of what is going on once we drop the bodies in ascension and incarnation. It's describing the whole process in vivid detail. All right. Let us continue. Let me take a sip. Time after time, while their bodies lie sleeping, incarnate they in the bodies of men, teaching and guiding onward and upward, out of the darkness into the light. So time after time, age after age, aeon after aeon, while their bodies lie sleeping, you can say their higher selves, their higher bodies, their higher bodies is sleeping within the halls of life, while their physical bodies are on this earthly plane. Incarnate they in the bodies of men. So they're constantly incarnating in the bodies of men. They're taking on the shapes of the bodies of men constantly, because this is their duty. They're playing out their duty. As we spoke about yesterday, Thoth had no desire other than to seek wisdom. There was no other desire other than to seek wisdom. He wasn't trying to be famous and known and do all this stuff. It was just, I want to seek greater and greater mysteries. The only thing that soothes my soul is wisdom, right? All right. Teaching and guiding onward and upward out of the darkness into the light. So it's going to the darkest planes of the universe or the planet, the hood, the ghetto. So it's going to the darkest places and raising from the mentally dead people and bringing them up into consciousness because this is their duty, right? Leading out of the darkness into the light. There in the halls of life, filled with their wisdom, known not to the other races of men, but known not to the races of men living forever beneath the cold fire of life, sit the children of light. Times there are when they awaken, come from the depths, to be lights among men, infinite they among finite men. So one more time. They're in the halls of life, they're in the hall of life, filled with their wisdom, known not to the races of men, living forever beneath the cold. So once again, when we go back, remember the children of light went beneath the earth and created a home for themselves. So although they are amongst men, they also have a dwelling place, right? We talked about the dwelling place. So they created a dwelling place for themselves, right? Not known to the races of men, beneath the cold fire of life, said the children of light. Times there are when they awaken. So remember, they're sleeping in this hall of light. But there is times when they awaken, come from the depths to be lights among men. So once again, there is times when they awaken, take on the form of a body, and go amongst men and teach civilization. So there are times when they're asleep, and then there's times when they awake to be lights among men. Infinite they among finite men. So their souls are infinite, and they walk amongst souls that are constantly stuck in this cycle of reincarnation without the ascension, right? So they're teaching the arts of ascension so that when you do reincarnate, you actually have a say-so about where, you can choose your fate and you can manipulate your destiny versus you're just bound to somebody else's rules and regulations just due to ignorance. So infinite they among finite men, right? That's also letting you know that all men don't have souls. All men, all women don't have souls. So there are the infinite ones, then there's the finite ones. So all of us, all of the people amongst us don't have souls. There are those who just have bodies. But that may be a little bit too far out, but let's continue. He who by progress has grown from the darkness, lifted himself from the night into light. Free is he, made of the halls of Amenti, free of the fire, free of the flower of life and of light. Sorry, it's light and life. So let me start again. He who by progress has grown from the darkness. So by progress, the person that's constantly gaining wisdom by seeking greater and greater mysteries, lifted himself from the night into light. So he lifted himself. So you don't see a bunch of people around it. He lifted himself from the night into light. Free is he, made from the halls of Amenti. Free is he from the cycles of incarnation. You just got to work out your karma. So he has freed himself from this hamster running on the wheel mentality, right? Free is he, made of the halls of Amenti, free of the flower of light and of life. Now that means he or she has complete control over their destiny and fate because they have freed themselves from somebody else having rulership over their incarnations and their ascensions, right? Guided he then by wisdom and knowledge, passes from men to the master of life. So guided he then by wisdom and knowledge. So what's allowing this person to make progress is wisdom and knowledge. He is guided by wisdom and knowledge, passes from men to the master of life. So he started off, or she started off as a man or a woman, but she evolved and progressed into the master of life. You start off as a man or a woman, and you ascend to the master of life. That means now you have knowledge and understanding of life itself, of the infinite spirit. Right? All right. And let me take a sip. All right. So let's go. We're getting through it. Okay. There he may dwell as one with the masters, free from the bonds of the darkness of night. Seated within the flower of radiance sit 7 lords from the space-time above us, helping and guiding through infinite wisdom, the pathway through time of the children of men. So, when you ascend from man or woman to the master of life, there you may dwell as one with the masters, free from the bonds of the darkness of night. Now, you have freed yourself from bondage, the forces from beyond. Seated within the flower of radiance sit 7 lords from the space-time above us. So, that's letting you know that there are lords above the space and time above us. So seated within the flower of radiance sits 7 lords from the space-time above us, helping and guiding through infinite wisdom, the pathway through time of the children of men. So that means we have 7 intelligence above space and time that's guiding the children of men through knowledge and wisdom. So now there are forces from beyond that's guiding, as we like to call this intuition, right? So this is breaking down what intuition is. It's breaking down what's actually going on. Very, very intricate and very, very detailed. Again, we're not going to get this type of perspective on spirituality from no other source. So this is simple. So all of these terms that we use in today's times is breaking down how all of this works from a universal perspective. It's described universally. Okay, so here we go. Mighty and strange they, veiled with their power, silent, all-knowing, drawing the life force, different yet one with the children of men, different and yet one with the children of light. So mighty and strange they, veiled with their power. So their power is veiled, their power is hidden. So the power is mighty and strange, yet is veiled. Silent, all-knowing. So the power is veiled because they're silent, yet all-knowing. So here they are amongst children of men, silent but all-knowing. Not causing the scene, not trying to be known, not trying to get their face known. They're just silent and all-knowing. Drawing the life force. Different yet one with the children of men, different and yet one with the children of light. Half light, half human, right? Half Anunnaki, half man, however you want to put that, right? The Anunnaki mixed with the children of men. All these creation stories, the gods started mixing with man. This is where all this is coming from. So this is explaining everything, all these things that may come from this source or come from that source. This is bringing it all together. So half man, half light, half etheric, half man, silent, all-knowing. Okay. Custodians and watchers of the force of man's bondage, ready to loose when the light has been reached. First and most mighty sits the veiled presence, Lord of lords, the infinite nine, over the other from each, the lords from each, the lords of the cycles. So that's definitely kind of, so let's go through this one more time. Custodians and watchers of the force of man's bondage. So they are the custodians and watchers of the force of man's bondage. So remember, we talk about men are bond. Men are bond. They are bond by this outer force. And this outer force, now it's going into more detail, has custodians and watchers. So this outside force that's bonding men to this earth plane, this prison planet, has custodians and watchers. So there is custodians and watchers over the force that controls the bondage, ready to loose when the light has been reached. Ready to loose when the light has been reached. So when you have ascended far enough to reach the light, those bonds are ready to be loosened instantly. First and most mighty sits the veiled presence. Once again, first and most mighty sits the veiled presence. So the most strongest force around is veiling his presence. So he's not walking around letting it be known who he is. He's, you can say, contained. He's hiding his power level. His power level is being hidden. Therefore, he appears to be nobody special, nobody that you need to look twice at, nobody that you should even be thinking about, because he has veiled his power. Lord of Lords. He is the Lord of Lords, or the King of Kings, the infinite nine, over the other from each of the Lord of the cycles. Right? All right. 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, each with his mission, each with his powers, guiding, directing the destiny of men. There sit they, mighty and potent, free of all time and space. So we're saying 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8. So it's talking about the numbers, right? So this is also letting you know, for all the people who speculate, oh, do these numbers have a living intelligence? I've been talking about numerology for years, right? Let this go past. I've been talking about numerology for years, that these numbers have an intelligence. So that's why you can change your house vibration. That's why you can look at the address of any car, not any car, any home, and know what's going on within that home based on the vibration. You know what's going on in your own home based on the vibration. The numbers are the keys to life. So this is also letting you know right there that these numbers have an intelligence. And once we go into astrology, we know that the intelligence behind the numbers can be linked to planetary vibrations. So this is the source of all that. So here's Thoth letting you know there are planetary energies that are expressed through numbers. Planetary energies expressed through numbers. Each with his mission, each with his powers. They all have their own way of doing things, guiding, directing the destiny of men. What's guiding and directing the destiny other than the planetary energies? The 7 chakras, the 7 inner planets. All right, there we go. There sit they, mighty and potent, free from all space-time, free of all time and space, right? So they're not bound by the same bondage that we have down here. You can say once anything in the celestial plane looks to be free. Because when we look up, we look at how vast everything is. Everything seems free. It's like, yo, you can just let your imagination roam. So based from our perspective, the celestial plane appears to be free of all space and time because it is based on greater cycles than our 24-hour clock or how we perceive time, right? All right. Not of this world they, yet akin to it. Elder brothers they, of the children of men. Judging and weighing, they with their wisdom. Watching the progress of light among men. So it's letting you know, not of this world they, yet akin to it. So they're not of this world, but they have adapted to it. Not of this world, but they have adapted to it. Elder brothers they, of the children of man. The elder brothers of the children of man. The older brothers of the children of man. Meaning they came before the children of man, which are the children of light, which predates the children of man. So it's also letting you know, because in the Bible, they talk about Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve doesn't represent the first creation. Adam and Eve represents the creation of men. So this is also giving you insight, because this is talking about 2 different creations. You have the creation of the children of light, You have the creation of the children of men. So this is letting you know there's two different creations. Everything didn't just instantly appear all at the same time. The children of light predate the children of men. So this is letting you know the time, the dates and the times and all that without being technical. Judging and weighing, they with their wisdom, watching the progress of light among men. So they are amongst men like judges. They are watching. They're right before you, watching your progress as men, helping you elevate, right? Okay? Let us continue. Hold on, give me 1 second here. All right, we back. Apologies for the brief intermission. Just had to check on the family, make sure everything is good. Everything's A-okay, so let's get back to it. So we take a sip. All right, here we go. So where were we? Okay. There before them was I led by the dweller. Watch him blend with one from above. So one more time. There before them was I led by the dweller. Remember, the dweller represents the higher self. Watch him blend with one from above. So the one from above, you can say it can be planetary energies. It can be the supreme intelligence. So basically it said the inner became one with the outer, as above, so below, right? It's etheric projection. However, there's various ways to interpret that. There isn't just one, just one meaning. There's multiple meanings. So, then from he came forth a voice saying, Great art thou, Thoth, among children of men, free henceforth of the halls of Amenti, master of life among children of men. Taste not of death, except as thou willet. Drink thou of life to eternity's end. Henceforth, forever is life. Thine is for the taking. Thine for the taking. Henceforth is death at the call of thy hand. So, his higher self became one with above. The inner met the outer. So you can say the higher force projected itself etherically, and he spoke wisdom. Let's go through this one more time. Great art thou, Thoth, among children of men, free henceforth of the halls of Amenti. So we've already established, he has freed himself from this cycle of, this cycle of incarnation, right? Because he's been being guided by knowledge and wisdom, putting in that work till he ascended. So he was able to retain his consciousness when he incarnates. So most people don't retain their consciousness when they go through reincarnation, so they have to constantly start over and renew over and over again. But once you ascend, you can retain your memory when you incarnate. Therefore, you become the master of your destiny by retaining your memory. Free henceforth of the halls of Amenti, master of life among children of men. Taste not of death except as thou will it. So even in death, taste not of death except as thou will it. So you don't taste death until you're ready to taste it. You become the master of your destiny, right? Drink thou of life to eternity's end. Henceforth, forever is life, thine for the taking. Life is yours for the taking. Do as you please. Henceforth is death at the call of thy hand. Death is at the call of thy hand. You are the controller of your destiny and fate. So this is letting you know right here, you are the controller of your destiny and fate. When you allow yourself to be guided by knowledge and wisdom, so that you can ascend and retain your memory, so that when you descend and incarnate into a human vessel, you can choose your destiny and your fate, and death will be at your call. You can go when you're ready to go and come when you're ready to come, as opposed to just you got to keep repeating these cycles over and over again. Death is at the call of thy hand. Right? So this is just letting you know. So anybody who want to know what's going on before you were born and after you died, this is telling you, it's laying it all down. Here we go. Okay. Dwell here or leave here when thou desire. Free is Amenti to the Son of Man. Take thou up life in what form thou desire. Child of the light that has grown among men, choose thou thy work, for all must labor. Never be free from the pathway of light. So, it's further letting you know, dwell here or leave here when you desire. Come and go as you please. Live and die at your own hands, at your own mercy. So this is when people are talking about ascension, when people are talking about enlightenment, this is what it means to be ascended or enlightened, where you live and die at your own desire. But again, you just don't hear most people speaking in these terms, but this is the source of all this information. Free is Amenti to the Son of Man, right? So you are not bound by the cycles of Amenti, because you have ascended, you have put in that work and risen above those cycles of time. Take thou of life in what form thy desire. So basically, take on when you want to incarnate, you can take on a body that you desire. So you can be born into whatever family that you desire. You can have whatever life that you desire. So if all say you create your reality, law of attraction, you see this is where all this is coming from. But as they don't speak from the celestial plane, they're not going this deep into it, right? So they speak about the material plane, and you can do this and you can do that, you can have this, have whatever you want. But you see, very, very few people is going this in depth about what's really going on, because you can say this ain't the fun stuff. This is stuff that's a little bit too far out for those people. They just like, yo, what can I get? Let me keep my thoughts positive. Let me start shaped in the mold in my physical reality. They don't even speak about the celestial plane, but this is speaking about the celestial plane. So we can see people can take the information and alter it if they choose, and speak about some things but not speak about other things. But this is why I'm reading it word from word, so that you can get it pure. So I'm not just talking about it, I'm reading with you word to word, so you can pull from it. At least you have heard the real version, whether or not you agree with my interpretation or not. You still got the purity here to come up with your own conclusion. So here's the light that has grown among men. Choose thou thy work, for all must labor, for all should must labor. So meaning you are able to choose, like, well, what do you want to do when you take on a physical form? So instead of you incarnating into a form where you pretty much are subjected to whatever resources you have, like, oh, I don't have those resources, so I can't do that. You can choose what work you want to take up. Like, all right, do you want to be a scientist? Do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to be this? Do you want to be that? Do you want to, whatever it is that you want to be, you will be born into that family that will help cultivate those attributes within yourself. You become the master of your destiny. All right. One step thou has gained on the long pathway upward. Infinite now is the mountain of light. Each step thou taketh but heightens the mountain. All of thy progress but lengthens the goal. Sorry about that. So let's read that one more time. One step thou has gained on the long pathway upward. So it's just talking about the path upward, the path to light. So one step at a time, one step at a time. Infinite now is the mountain of light. So this wisdom becomes infinite, like a mountain of light, a mountain of light. Each step thou taketh but heightens the mountain. So each step you take heightens the mountain. All of thy progress but lengthens the goal. So all of your progress just makes your goal, expands your goal. So there is never a point where you are satisfied. You are always going to be seeking knowledge and wisdom. So the further up you get, so everybody's thinking like, oh, I got to get on top, I got to get on top, I got to get on top, and I got to stay on top. There is no top. That is an illusion. The further you get up the mountain, you realize that it's constantly creating new levels for you to attain. No beginning, no ending. Infinite is infinite, right? Wisdom is infinite. Infinite now is the mountain of light. Infinite now is the mountain of light. There you go. So what does it say now? Let me make sure we're good. Okay. Let us continue. Approach ye ever the infinite wisdom. Ever before thee recedes the goal. Free are ye made now of the halls of Amenti, to walk hand in hand with the lords of the world. One in one purpose working together, bring of light to the children of men. So it's letting you know right there. Whatever purpose that you choose is all to forward the progress of the children of men. So whatever duty you take is all for the betterment of the children of men. So the children of light are like the servants to the children of men that help them come into awareness of themselves. They're helping to cultivate the children of men. So the children of light are working to awaken the children of men. Right? Approach ye ever the infinite wisdom. Approach the infinite wisdom. Ever before thee recedes the goal. That means the goal is constantly expanding. Free are ye made now of the halls of Amenti. Free of you made of the cycles of life and death, to the point where you can't retain your memory. Now you can retain your memory, so you're not subjected to that fate. To walk hand in hand with the lords of the world. So now you're walking hand in hand with the lords of the world. So here you are peer to peer now to the lords of the world. Instead of being a servant, you are peer to peer because you have escaped the cycles of life and death, because you have learned how to retain your memory. One in purpose, working together to bring of light to the children of men. So they are all working in unison to bring a light to the children of men, to be servants to the children of men. All right, there we go. All right. Then from his throne came one of the masters, taking my hand, leading me onward. Through all the halls of the deep hidden land, led he me through the halls of Amenti, showing the mysteries that are known not to men. Right? Then from his throne came one of the masters. So one of the masters, because again, this is talking about Thoth. So Thoth, he's hand in hand with the lords of this world because he has ascended. So this is talking about Thoth outside of the body. So remember, the title of this is called the Halls of Amenti. So this is going into vast detail about the Halls of Amenti. So again, so this is what's going on between the life and death incarnation, right? Then from his throne came one of the masters, taking my hand and leading me onward. So it's talking about Thoth. One of the masters came, took his hand, because now he's on a peer-to-peer level with the masters. So they take him like, yo, they about to show him the game. Through all of the halls of the deep hidden land. So now he's constantly talking about a deep hidden land. His hand is not known to man. Lead he me through the halls of Amenti, showing the mysteries that are known not to man. So there are even greater mysteries not known to man. Because his heart can't be fulfilled. His heart is only satisfied with wisdom. He wants greater and greater mysteries. So the elders will constantly have something to show him. All right. Through the dark passage, downward he led me, into the hall where sits the dark death. Vast as space lay the great hall before me, walled by darkness, but yet filled with light. So now he's talking about the dark death. Through the dark passage, downward he led me. Because remember, if you remember the first one, very, very few men will take the journey into the halls of Amenti. Again, this is not the mainstream path. This is not the path of, the popular opinion. This is only for the chosen few. So we're talking about the dark worlds, going into the dark realm. The heart of Amenti is in the depths hidden beneath the earth, right? Into the hall where sit the dark death. So the hall, now he's in the hall with the dark death. Vast as space lay the great hall before me, walled by darkness, but yet filled with light. So it's darkness all around him, but the darkness is filled with light. So imagine pretty much stars shimmering in the night sky. So that's basically what it's saying, like stars shimmering. So it's darkness, but it's filled with light, a shimmering light. All right. Before me arose a great throne of darkness. Veiled on it sat a figure of night. Darker than darkness sat the great figure, dark with a darkness not of the night. Before it then paused the master speaking. The word that brings about life, saying, O master of darkness, guide of the way from life onto life. Before thee I bring a son of the morning. Touch him not ever with the power of night. Call not his flame to the darkness of the night. Know him and see him. One of our brothers, lifted from darkness into the light. Release thou his flame from his bondage. Free let it flame through the darkness of the night. Right? So again, let's paint the picture. So Thoth is amongst the elders. So the elder took his hand. We're talking about Thoth. The elder took Thoth's hand and led him into these dark worlds. The dark world the elder led Thoth into was, the halls of the dark death. And the elder is now saying a chant or a prayer to the dark death. Just, telling him free Thoth's soul from incarnation. Letting again, there are custodians and servants to this universal order. So he's saying a prayer or a chant. Thoth is put in this work, free his soul, from the incarnation. So let's read it one more time. All right. Before me rose a great throne of darkness. Veiled on it sat a figure of the night. Darker than darkness sat the great figure. Dark with a darkness not of the night. So this figure, the dark death, is dark with a darkness not of the night. Right? So just ponder your mind, try to wrap your mind around what that means. Before it then paused the master speaking. So again, you got Thoth, you got the master, then you got the dark death. So master is saying to the dark death, the word that brings about life, saying, O master of darkness, guide of the way from life unto life, ascension, incarnation. Before thee I bring a son of the morning. We have heard this before, right? Son of the morning, Lucifer, son of the morning. This is where that comes from. Before thee I bring a son of the morning. A son of the morning is a light bearer. A ascended soul. So son of the morning, son of the light. son of a awakened consciousness. That's what that's truly talking about. Before thee I bring a son of the morning. Touch him not ever with the power of the night. So meaning say protect, he's done with the night. Right? He don't need to be touched by the night. Call not his flame into the darkness of night. The darkness of night, this means ignorance. So meaning let him forever remain wise. Know him, see him, one of our brothers. So here we are. So he is one with the master, and he is one, we're talking about Thoth. Thoth is one with the master, and Thoth is one with the dark death. They are on a peer-to-peer level. So he's not worshiping these people. These people, he like, we are all the same. We are like-minded. He has ascended, so he knows the truth. So we treat him like a brother as opposed to somebody who has no knowledge of themselves. Right? Lifted from darkness into the light, because he has ascended. He has lifted himself from darkness into night. Release thou his flame from its bondage. Release Thoth's flame from the bondage. Free, let it flame through the darkness of the night. Let his soul flame through the darkness of the night. Raise then the hand of the figure. So we're talking about the dark death. So the dark death raised his hand. Came forth a flame that grew clear and bright. Rolled back swiftly the curtain of darkness. Unveiled the hall from the darkness of night. Then grew in the great space before me flame after flame. From the veil of the night, uncounted millions leaped they before me, some flaming forth as flowers of fire. So now, Thoth, the master in the dark death. So Thoth is observing that. So the dark death lifted his hand, because remember, the master just made the chant. He just made the petition to dark death in Thoth's honor. So in response, the dark death lifted his hand. Then forth came a flame that grew clear and bright, rolled back swiftly the curtains of darkness. So now the curtains of darkness has rolled back, unveiled the hall from the darkness of night. So now the hall of the darkness of night has been unveiled. Then grew in the great space before me flame after flame from the veil of the night. So from the veil of the night, all these flames rush in. Uncounted millions leap they before me. So we're talking about flames. Some flaming forth as flowers of fire. Flowers of fire. So now he's watching this dance of flaming flowers from the hand of the dark death. Others they were that shed a dim radiance. So there was dancing flaming flowers. Then others had a dim radiance. Flowering, but faintly out of the night. So there's various variations. Some are super bright and some are not so bright. Some there were that faded swiftly. So they all talk about some instantly appeared and instantly disappeared. Some lasted for a long time. So they all were on their own cycles, right? Others that grew from small sparks of light, each surrounded by its dim veil of darkness, yet flaming with the light that could never be quenched. Coming and going like fireflies in springtime, filled they with space of light and with life. Right? So he's just describing the scene. There's various flaming fires, right? Flowers that are on fire with their own time span, right? All right. Then spoke a voice, mighty and solemn, mighty and solemn, saying, These are lights that are souls among men, growing and fading, existing forever, changing yet living through death into life. When they have bloomed into flower, reach the zenith of growth in their life. Swiftly then send I my veil of darkness, shrouding and changing to new forms of life. So this is the dark death speaking now, right? So he's saying, so all of these flaming flowers, these are lights that are souls among men. So the souls among men is being represented as flaming, as fires that have various lifespans, growing and fading, existing forever, So there's an endless cycle, no beginning, no ending. So they're constantly growing and fading, changing yet living through death into life. So it's a constant cycle, changing yet living through death into life. When they have bloomed into flower, reached the zenith or the apex of growth in their life. So once they have reached the apex, he's just describing the process of life. Once they have reached the apex of life, swiftly then send I my veil of darkness, death. So once they have reached the apex of life, he sent his veil of darkness, shrouding and changing new forms of life. So the veil of death is simply a change to new life, right? So he's describing the process of light and death. They're just going into super vivid detail, super vivid detail. All right. Steadily upward throughout the ages, growing, expanding into yet another flame, lightening the darkness with yet greater power, quenched yet unquenched by the veil of the night. Right? So now he's talking about ages. So this is just going on age after age after age, expanding, light and dark. It's just talking about the whole process. So grows the soul of man ever upward. The soul of man is forever going upward, quenched yet unquenched by the darkness of night. So basically, this is saying that on a human level, we are subjected to a lot of things on this human existence, but the soul is untouched by the night. So whatever we have to go through is as on with these bodies, the soul is quenched yet unquenched by the darkness of the night. Right? So you may feel how you feel about, the things that we have to go through, but the soul is forever pure. That's the aspect of you that remains pure, quenched yet unquenched. The soul is quenched yet unquenched. It forever remains pure no matter what you have to go through. All right. I death come, and yet I remain not. For life eternal exists in the all. Only an obstacle, I in the pathway, quick to be conquered by the infinite light. So it's saying, so even death comes, but he doesn't remain. I death come, and yet I remain not. So I come, but I don't remain. For life eternal exists in the all. So that means life is eternal. It's constantly changing and evolving. Only an obstacle, I in the pathway. So death is only an obstacle in the pathway. Death himself is revealing his true identity. Only an obstacle, I in the pathway, quick to be conquered by the infinite light. So even death can be conquered by the infinite light. Well, y'all don't, nobody else is going to describe death in that context. So that's revealing the true meaning of death. So let me take a sip. We almost done. All right. Here we go. Awaken, O flame that burns ever inward. Flame forth and conquer the veil of the night. So now it's talking about your soul. Awaken, O flame, not the spirit within. Awaken, O flame that burns ever inward. The inward flame, your spirit. Awaken, O flame that burns ever inward. Awakening of the spirit. Flame forth and conquer the veil of the night. The veil of the night is just a veil of ignorance. The veil of ignorance is due to a burnt out spiritual flame. When your spiritual flame is burnt out, you're ignorant. You become conquered by the veil of the night. But you can conquer the veil of the night by awakening the spirit from within. That's why it said go within, go within, go within, go within. You're going within not just for the sake of going within. You're going within to relight or rekindle your inner flame, your inner flame. So when you go within, you are rekindling your inner flame. Then in the midst of the flames, in the darkness, grew there one that drove forth the night, flaming, expanding, ever brightening, ever brighter, until at last was nothing but light. So the flames illuminated the darkness, and it grew more and more and more, flaming and expanding, brighter and brighter and brighter, till there was nothing left but light. Then spoke my guide, the voice of the master. So you got Thoth, you got his master, his guide, then you got the dark depth. So now the master is speaking. See your own soul as it grows in the light, free now, forever from the Lord of the night. So remember, the master made a petition to the dark depth in Thoth's honor to free his soul. So now the master is saying, see your soul, see your own soul as it grows in the light, free now forever from the Lord of the night. So his petition was granted. Now his soul is forever free from the Lord of the night. So this is talking about a process that we all could potentially go through. Thoth is just going through it. This is to put all this into proper context. This is a path that we all can go through. Thoth is just writing from a first-hand experience. He's writing from a first-hand experience. This is what you have to go through to ascend. These are the steps that you have to go through, and he's going through them and describing the process as he's going through it. Again, this is what makes these writings different from all other writings, because it's being written from a first-hand perspective. If you want to know how to ascend, I'm about to show you the process, and I'm not just about to speak about it. I'm not just about to write about it. I'm going to describe it as I go through it, as I continuously go through it from age to age to age to age to age. I'm just going to document it now, because this is what we do. This is, you know what I mean? All right. Okay, we almost. Let me see. Okay. Forward he led me through many great spaces, filled with the mysteries of the children of light. Mysteries that man may never yet know of until he too is a son of the light. So that's letting you know. Forward he led me through many great spaces. So he's talking about through the astral plane or the etheric plane. So this is, you can say they're astral traveling, right? Or solar traveling. Filled with the mysteries of the children of light. So they are filled with the mysteries of the children of light. I mean, the children of light come before the children of men, who is half, you can say Anunnaki, half man, whatever you want to call it. Mysteries that man may never know yet. Well, no, mysteries that man may never yet know of until he too is a son of the light. So only until man ascends from the earth to the sun that he's going to know certain secrets, or she will know certain secrets through ascension. Ascension teaches you certain arts that you just can't learn while on earth. You got the earthly arts, but then you got the etheric arts. Backward then he led me into the light of the hall of the light. Kneeled I then before the great masters, Lord of all, from the cycles above. Right? So now now Thoth has been led to the hall of light. Then he prostrated himself, not prostrated, but he knelt before the great masters, the Lord of all from the cycle above. So now he's in the presence of the great masters, and he kneeled in honorance. He was paying homage to the masters. Spoke he then with words of great power, saying, Thou hast been made free of the halls of Amenti. Choose thou thy work among the children of men. So, the great master asked Thoth, well, let him know that, your soul has been freed from the halls of Amenti. Now choose your destiny. Choose your fate. Now this is Thoth speaking. Then I spoke. So now this is Thoth telling the master what he wants his work to be among the children of men. O great master, let me be a teacher of men, leading them onward and upward until they too are lights among men, freed from the veil of the night that surrounds them, flaming with light that shall shine among men. So his Thoth's only request wasn't asking, let me get that, let me get this, let me get that. Well, I want a pair of those, I want a pair of those. I want that color, I want that color. His only request was to be a teacher amongst men. One more time. O great master, let me be a teacher of men, leading them onward and upward until they too are lights among men, free from the veil of the night that surrounds them, flaming with light that shall shine among men. All he cared about is light. I want to be a teacher of men, civilizing men, showing them the ropes of how to become lights themselves amongst men. The golden chain. This is what this is called, the golden chain. And when you take on this lifestyle, you become a part of this golden chain. All right. So Thoth made his petition. Now this is the response. Spoken to me then a voice, go as yet will, or go as ye will, so be it decreed. Master are ye of your destiny, free to take or reject at will. Take ye the power, take ye the wisdom, shine as a light among the children of men. So his request, Thoth's request to be a teacher was granted. Go as ye will, so it be decreed. Master are ye of your destiny, free to take or reject at will. Take ye the power, take ye the wisdom, shine as a light among the children of men. Right? So his only desire was to shine as a light amongst the children of men. His request was granted because he put in that work of ascensions, and he's on a peer-to-peer level with. So it's as if he's talking to his homies. So he's like, yo, he's coming up to the homies, yo, you know, I want to be free from the halls of Amenti. But they're like, since that's the homie. All right, cool, no problem. You just doing a favor for the homie. Because now he's on a peer-to-peer basis. It's like, everybody here is brothers now. Oh, that's just, death is over there. You know, lightning is over there. You know, you just talking to them like it is what it is. And they don't mind doing anything for you because everybody has put in that work. We are amongst the lords of the lords, right? All right. So we're pretty much done. Now, upward then led me the dweller. Dwell I again among the children of men, teaching and showing some of my wisdom, son of the light, a fire among men. Now again I tread the path downward, seeking the light in the darkness of night. Hold ye and keep ye, preserve my record. Guide shall it be to the children of men. So, after all that went on, his request was granted, then upward. The dweller, you could say his higher self, led him back upward. So he went back into his body. Dwell I again among the children of men. So obviously there was some type of astral projection going on, because now he is back again amongst the children of men. So when it's talking about the halls of Amenti, you could say it's not a physical place. You have to astrally go to the center of the earth, and there's the halls of Amenti. You have to project yourself, because people be astral projecting, but they be doing frivolous stuff, trying to see what's going on in other people's houses, because they're truly afraid. It takes courage to astral project to see what's going on in different, across the seas and going to different countries. People not even thinking that deep into their spirituality. So dwell I again among the children of men. So now he's no longer astral traveling, teaching and showing some of my wisdom. Son of the light, a fire among men. Now again I tread the path downward, seeking the light in the darkness of night. Hold ye and keep ye, preserve my record. Guide shall it be to the children of men. So it's letting you know, when you become a part of this golden chain, you must preserve the record. Preserve the record. Ascension. It's all about ascension. Be a light amongst the children of men. Now you become a part of something greater than yourself. And that's it. That's the end of the second tablet. Right? So let me get my final comments is basically, after reading the second tablet, it's, again, like I feel like the Emerald Tablets of Thoth puts everything into perspective, because again we are getting knowledge from all these different schools of thought. But when we read these Emerald Tablets, it's literally whatever spiritual question you have, it's given an answer for it. This because it's coming from a first-hand experience. Because it's coming from a first-hand experience, it's going so much in depth that you can't misunderstand it. There's no way to misunderstand what's being said, because it's speaking to you on various levels, right? So my ending comments You know what I mean? This is a must read for everybody. Everybody who's spiritual. This will definitely put things into perspective so that there will no longer be a confusion as what happens when we die, what was going on before we was born, what is my purpose in life. All of these questions have an answer, and the answers are found within these tablets. So that's why I definitely want to read it word from word so you can get the purity of it. Word from word, you know. So it's no more confusion can exist, you know, when you were definitely embracing this lifestyle, you know, of whatever, the alchemist, the occultist, the sorcerer, necromancer, whatever you want to call it, right? So unless anybody has any questions, we'll get up out of here and we'll be right back in tomorrow, going to the third tablet, which is called the Key of Wisdom, which goes deeper into numerology. So it's going to break down the attributes of all of the planetary energies, right? So that's coming up in the next tablet. So again, definitely, if this has been useful for you, if this has sparked your interest to read even more of the tablets, definitely thumbs up. You know what I mean? Like, comment, subscribe. You know what I mean? You already know. So we'll be right back at y'all tomorrow. Let me see. Make sure everything is good. I see everybody's been, I guess because I got both of these screens. Because I got half of my screen is the book, and half of my screen is a comment. So I see people have been leaving comments, but I'm just now seeing them. So I appreciate everybody tuning in once again. So hold on, let me stroll down. What's good? What's good? So Red is saying reading this makes everything clearer for me. I don't feel scattered with knowledge. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. And you see, this is why. This is the source material from everything spiritual. They pull from the emerald tablets, then they try to make something else with it. But now that you're hearing it pure, you see that it destroys all confusion. So that's exactly why I wanted to read it, around this time anyway. So this is wisdom directly from Thoth. So there really is no greater thing that you can read in these times, especially, with what's going on in today's atmosphere. So definitely, I encourage everybody to continue to read, or we can read along. If you just want to wait till tomorrow, no problem. So again, what's up? What's up, Janelle? What's up, Kush Goddess? Say, John Doe do a teaching on the tablet that talks about being set free from the archons. It's a spell. I think it's tablet 13. Well, we only on the second tablet. We're going to go through the whole book. So don't even worry about it. So we're going through each tablet, word from word. So this is only for my extended thinkers. So we're going to go through the tablet word from word. So we'll get to it eventually. What's up, Jay Flower? What's up, Curtis? What's up, Majestic? Yeah, you can definitely, the book is online. Type in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth if you want to read it yourself or read along. You know what I mean? What's up, Afro Pick? Again, the book is called the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. So you can look it up online. You can download it, the PDF format. It's all over the place. What's up, Agris or Agris? What's up, Key Love? What's up? All right, so we're not gonna be on here too long. Is intuition something that everybody has? Absolutely. It talked about intuition a little bit before. But yeah, everybody has intuition, which is pretty much coming from higher powers. What's up, Marvin the Magi? What's up, Starfire? What's up, the Prime Ascension? What's up, King? What's up, Jewelry? What's up, Moon Spirit? You know what I mean? All right. You seen the dove last night? Could that have been Thoth? You never know. But definitely, I encourage everybody to continue to connect with the energy of Thoth. Watch yesterday's video if you didn't see it. Then watch the brief introduction of Thoth if you want to know more about the Thoth and the purpose he served and all that. So definitely, we're gonna be right back at y'all tomorrow, reading the third tablet. So we're gonna keep breaking this down. We're gonna go through all the tablets. It's gonna take a little time. but I guarantee it's going to be worth it. So it's going to take a little time, but definitely be patient. Definitely be patient. You know, definitely. So I say, precious mother love. She appreciates the clarity as well. You know, I definitely want to lay out this format. You know, directing everybody to the source. Because once we get through these 13 tablets, it's 13 tablets in total. Once we get through these 13 tablets, there should be no more confusion about anything. But definitely, let's take our time. We only on day 2, so it's gonna take 13 days, so basically 2 weeks. We only on day 2. So I want to, give yourself time to kind of marinate on what's being read. So no need to rush. Just give yourself some time to marinate, to meditate, and to concentrate on it. And you know what I mean? It's definitely life changing. Yeah, definitely around the same time tomorrow. Yeah, about noon, somewhere, like 11, 12, maybe a little bit early. Maybe a little bit early, maybe an hour or two earlier. So about, around the same time pretty much. Kush got his fasted yesterday. Now she in the zone. There you go. There you go. There you go. Key Love is starting her 30-day raw cleanse. You know what I mean? Definitely much love to Key Love. You know what I mean? Much respect for taking on this path, going along the path. See, you know what I mean? I definitely enjoy seeing, people putting in that work. Because I know you're going to get results. You know what I mean? So I definitely always enjoy seeing people putting in that work. All right? What's up, young? So we're going to get up out of here. I'll be right back at y'all kind of a little earlier tomorrow. It'll be a little bit earlier. Definitely. Good luck to you back from hiatus on your fast if you ever decide to do so. So I'll be back with y'all tomorrow. So much love, much respect, much appreciation. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll get at y'all tomorrow. Peace. Hotep. We out.